And so with everything that was introduced when it came to Sylvia, why should you come on the show? Why is this something of relevance that you can bring to the table? And to be honest with you, I don't have a master's degree. I don't have, but you know what? I do have very much experience with life. And sometimes that's really all it takes when it comes to having true relationships, true communication, true trust with people. A lot of times we rely on the fact that, okay, what kind of degree does she have, and or so on and so forth, and that's what makes things relevant. Sometimes my own mother has a GED, but you know what? She's taught me things that a college would never be able to teach me. Her experience with everything that she's has taught me, Mijita, you keep going and you keep teaching and you keep passing that torch of the things that I've taught you, and you teach them, and you do that, and you do that for them. And that's what I'm hoping that we are able to do with this podcast today, is saying, you know what? Have a little bit more faith in yourself. If you think, what can I have to offer? I mean, I don't have the, no. If you have faith in somebody, express that faith in someone. If you have belief in someone, believe in someone, even if it's just for a day or two or a week. Because in all honesty, Natalie, it just took that for you and me, for me to believe in you for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And look at the things that you have accomplished. Look at the things that you have done. Look at the things that you took it and ran with it to where the point where it impresses me beyond measure. And all I did was believe in you. And so if that's all it takes to allow another person to come up, sure, because here are the things, there's always a staircase, and the staircase goes up or the staircase goes down. You either build someone down or you build someone up. Decide to build that someone up today. Decide to believe in that person today. If you need to call them on their behavior, call them on their behavior, but do it because you want to build them up, not because you're trying to tear them down. And that's the thing that I'm hoping that we're able to establish today, because if we're thinking trust, what does that even mean? Well, you know what? If it's a foreign word to you, all it means is sometimes you just believe in somebody. They're doing everything they're supposed to. You tell them, you know what? I'm going to believe in you today, because I know that people have done that for me. And I know that people have done that for you. And if that's the case, then why don't we do that today? Why don't we believe in people just a little bit more than usual? Why not? How can it hurt? Okay. Even if they let us down, how can it hurt?
So you're right. How can it hurt to just trust just a tiny bit? Because we won't know unless we try. But let me ask you this. Do you think that able to trust another woman as a friend, as a coworker, as an individual, as a mentor, as anything in your life, do you believe that that person has to first learn to believe in themselves before they believe anything anybody else says? Or do you think it matters?
Absolutely. I think it absolutely matters, but I'm trying to speak to the person who's still trying to find themselves, because I remember one of my mentors telling me, Mija, you need to learn to guard your heart. And I didn't know what the hell that meant. I would say, okay, but how? I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to take care of me, and she would say, you'll get it. But I was very young. I was like 22 or 23. Now I'm older now, 39 now. And so I completely understand what she means now, but back then I didn't know what that meant. Now, of course it matters. I cannot be putting my trust in every single person that comes my way, thinking that everybody has my best interest at heart, because it's simply not the truth.
Exactly.
It's not the truth. But there are certain hints whenever we pay attention. I think the theme that is starting to permeate from here is that we need to keep our eyes open to see who is it that is taking interest in us and for what reasons. You see, sometimes people in the employment want to teach you so that you learn and you grow. And then sometimes people want to pay attention to you so that they can point out things not to your advantage. And so it's a tricky thing. It's not, if trust was easy, everybody would have it down, and there would be no reason for us to have a topic for it tonight. I mean, there would be, but it's the truth. It's the truth of the matter is that we need to learn to keep our eyes open and to see things as they truly, truly are. And I remember being a young kid, 20, 19, 20, 21, thinking, how do I know who to trust? What do I know what to do? How can I possibly know? And you know what? Sometimes it just took experience, and sometimes it took getting hurt, and sometimes it took people just sticking by my side, even though when I didn't deserve it. But the bottom line is this. I want the listener today to know, do not give up on the fact that you will give the ability to trust. Because if we completely shut down and we say, I don't trust anybody because I've been screwed over my whole life, then you don't give yourself a shot to live. And that's why I want to tell you, it's okay if you trust somebody and you misjudge them and they hurt you anyway. I mean, hey, it's life. Things, it's called experience. It's called, hey, another notch under your belt.
Yes.
But don't give up on trying to learn to trust, because if not, I would have never had a trust and a relationship with a lady called Natalie Lugo, which I'm able to now be on a podcast with, that is now not only in the United States, but in other countries as well. Something that I am completely humbled and thankful for, to be a part of. Just because of that, we're able to have that discussion today. So if you look at it and say, well, what's the point? This is the point. This is the exact point, is because I have you, Natalie, today, because we decided to say, trust, fine. I'm watching you. And then we watched each other, and then we decided we cared for each other, and it's been years, and now we have a lifelong relationship.
Yes.
If that's the case, hey, take the risk, people. Take the risk.
And I love that. I love what you just said. I couldn't have said it better, actually, because I feel like I believe you as a person, not because I know you, but because I know how passionate you are about the things that you speak of. And that's what I love about having you as an individual in my life that I can call and be like, hey, listen, today I'm having a bad day. Or, you know, what's even worse is that sometimes I get so caught up in life and all the things that I'm involved in and all the things that I'm doing. And if I don't call you, you call me, hey, what's going on? I haven't heard from you in a while. Are you okay? Is everything all right? Talk to me. And so we need to have that. We need somebody to call us and check us and be like, hey, listen, are you getting overwhelmed in life? You need to sit down, take a breather. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's recap. Let's do this. Let's do that. And sometimes we don't realize that we're holding our breath, going so fast, trying to meet these standards and these standards of life and work and this and that. And we're always both so busy, but it doesn't matter how busy we get. We always make time for each other. And that is the key right there. And you know what? It's so crazy because I've given my best to some people in my life as friends and relationships, and I've been hurt, I've been knocked down. I'm talking about I've been so good to people that are very undeserving of my loyalty, of my respect, of my faithfulness, of my strength, of my friendship, of all kinds of things. But the type of person that I was raised to be was to give. And I feel like not everybody was raised like that. And then the people that were and they're constantly hurt, it discourages them from continuously giving. Like, I feel like I've reached a point in my life sometimes that I'm like, no, you know what? I'm not doing relationships anymore. You know what? I'm not letting no new friends in because I'm tired of being hurt, or I'm tired of being this, or I'm tired of being that. But nobody talks about those things. Like, for example, if someone that has never heard us, never seen us, knows nothing about us, they might think me and you have it all figured out and we got life just handed to us and we're just great. And what the heck do we know what we're talking about? But in all actuality, they have no idea where we've come from, where we've been, what we've endured, what we've overcome. And that's the key. If you can see me right now on your screen and you can think, man, this chick's got it all together. She's got it off. Look at her. She's doing this. She's doing that. And you don't know the backstory. Man, that's where you're hurting yourself. Learn people. Learn what's behind them. Learn what they've already been through so that you know where their strength comes from. Because if you don't know where it came from, then you're just going to believe anything they say. And if there's nothing back there to back it up, then you know there's a gap somewhere you need to dig in to make sure you know these people's motives are in the right direction for you. Because if their motives are not right for themselves, how are they going to help you? And you know what? That's another issue too that women tend to have. I can fix all your problems, give you all the perfect advice, tell you all the right things to say and do in your situation, but then I don't follow my own advice. And I might be in the exact same situation, just different things. But if I don't follow that through for myself, how can I help you if I don't help me first? How can I help you heal through something if I'm still over here crying and hurt and asleep and depressed? And these are real things that women experience. And especially our youth right now, man. It just saddens me to think that, like my niece, for example, my niece is doing really good. She does this, she does that. My other niece, on the other hand, her older sister, had to endure a whole bunch of stuff growing up because of the age difference and the era that she grew up in and the people that were around her when she was raised. So if that's like a day and night thing, imagine our lives right now compared to the little girls now, like an 18, 19-year-old now. What do you think is it that we can say to them that would make them stop and listen and open their minds and open their hearts to something that we have to say? Like what is it that you would say?
Natalie, I'm going to be completely honest with you, and it's coming from a very near place in my situation with life right now. Is this, and when you were talking, is that the truth of the matter is it is easy for us to not in the middle of the situation. You're looking on the outside in. It's completely easy to see the situation, and you say, "Oh, it's because you need to do this, and you need to do that, and you need to do this." But if I always wait till I have all of my crap together, I'm never going to be able to help anybody.
Hmm.
So here's the thing, is that regardless of the things that I'm going through, regardless of the struggles, regardless of the fact that I'm weak in certain areas, regardless of the fact that there's still things I need to learn, if there's something that I have experienced, if there's something that I have gone through and have been able to overcome, and if I can help another sister, if I can help another person, if I can help another family member, by God, do it. I have so many times held back because I'm saying, well, I'm not walking the walk. Then I can't talk the talk if I'm not walking the walk. But I've already been through this particular area in life and have succeeded in certain areas. But because I feel like I don't have my life completely together in other areas, I feel like, oh no, I cannot say anything. Well, why? We speak on the experiences that we have learned, and that's what I would say is that, and that's another thing that other women as us we do to each other is like, oh, that's real fresh of you to say, because look at your life and look what you're doing. And it's like, it's not even about that. If I've experienced a certain area and I can help you and tell you, hey, do this a little better, why don't you tweak this a little part a little bit differently, why can't we do that for each other? Why do we have to be so judgmental and wait for everybody to be on the perfect end of things and doing everything perfect in life and other to take somebody else's advice?
Well,
Why do we have to do that?
I think because this generation, and it's not just this generation, it's gradually added throughout life, that people tend to want instant gratification. They want something that's now, something that's easy, something that doesn't hurt. And everything nowadays is presented. For example, social media. Most of the things you see are not real. If
And
you
they're in
think this
30-second
person,
increments.
not just that, I mean, think about it. Every filter that's used changes, distorts, or makes something different. Therefore, it's not its original thing anymore. So if I add this and I add that and I add this filter and I change that, if I apply makeup, guess what? I just changed my appearance. And so if I see everything perfect on social media, all these girls, they're beautiful, they're Instagram models, they're this and that. So guess what? If I'm a kid and that's all I see, that's what I think is okay. That's what I think I should be looking like and doing. And if I don't match that, then I'm not good enough. And see, people forget we didn't have that growing up. That wasn't a problem for us. We were still at 12, 13, even 15 years old, riding around in bikes, getting dirty in the mud and playing with dolls and all kinds of stuff. that these kids don't know nothing about, because if it's not on a phone, it's not real. And that just, that's crazy to me.
But what I will tell you is this, is the millennials, and then whatever this generation is called, is what they're doing is breaking the mold. They're breaking the mold of everything that, I mean, I even went to a concert with one of my cousins and I thought I was doing something cool. And she says, that's not cool to do that. I'm telling you, these newer generations, shout out to Dee Morales, because she showed me that like that was not cool. And I'm thinking, but here's the thing. If these generations are willing to break the mold, then why cannot you and I, regardless of the age, regardless of what's going on, why cannot we break the mold and say, ladies, regardless of whatever, I don't care how old you are, let's start approaching things differently. Let's start trusting each other in a different way. Let's start caring for each other. Let's start understanding that we're not going to have all our stuff together, but you know what? If I have something in this particular area under wraps, hey man, can I help you? And so on and so forth, because I'm going to need your help, Natalie. I'm going to need your help. And you're going to need mine. And at what point do we have to have everything perfect all the time to be able to give each other help? If that's the case, we never need help from each other. It doesn't make sense.
Nope.
It doesn't make sense. If we have to have our lives together completely, then why do we ever need advice from each other? So people, please forgive each other a little more. Give each other a break. Give each other a break. We all mess up. I wish I could do so many things different. Natalie, you say you look up to me in so many areas. I wish there were so many things I could be doing differently in life. And I'm sure you feel the same way. And I look up to you. I look up to you in so many ways. Look at all the things that you're accomplishing. So if that's the case, if we could see each other in that sense, imagine the good that we could do on a global scale.
Man.
And so if we're doing this on a podcast today to spread the word, to say, hey, let's do better. Let's do better among us women. Let's do better among us humans. Let's do better and just believe in each other anyway, even though we don't deserve it. Let's just believe in each other.
And I think that trust is just the beginning. It's just the tip of something that we're touching right now. Because if we really think about it, forgiveness is another. Somebody has hurt us that made us not want to trust somebody else ever again because we've been hurt so tough. Loyalty. No one is teaching nobody how to be loyal to each other anymore. And that's the key. I told you just the other day on one of our phone calls how I came across one of the girls on TikTok, and how she was mentioning how a guy was trying to approach her, and take her out on a date. And she looked up his profile, and found out he actually had a girlfriend that was engaged with him. And he was over here trying to talk to her, underhandedly. I don't know, sneaky link or whatever you call it nowadays.
There's a bunch of things for it.
Yeah. And so the girl actually responded with a video and told him, like, listen, if you have a girlfriend or you have a wife or you have a fiance, you have anything of that sort, please don't contact me. Please be respectful, because my loyalty is not to you as a man. My loyalty is to your woman, because we as women need to stick together. And I think that's been lost somewhere, that we don't respect the next woman just because we don't know them. Who cares if we don't know them? We have all been cheated on. We have all experienced some kind of hurt in some kind of relationship. And I think nobody remembers that. It's all fine and dandy when you're on that side of the spectrum. But what happens when it happens to you? Because karma is a real thing and it will come back around. So what happens? Wouldn't you want to know if somebody's doing you harm or doesn't mean you well, and another woman that doesn't even know you is informing you, hey, listen, the guy or the girl or whatever, whoever you're dating, you need to pay more attention because you're being too trusting. You're not guarding your heart. And you're going to get hurt in the long run because this person doesn't have your best interest at heart. Don't we all want to have someone like that in our life? Don't we want someone to tell us, hey, listen, this is going to get you hurt? It's like when we're little kids and our parents say, hey, don't touch the stove, it's going to burn you. What do? We still touch it because we don't understand it. What does that mean? It's going to burn us hot. What is it going to feel like? Are you sure it's going to hurt? Like, we don't know. We don't believe. Yeah. But if we have a stranger that I've never met this girl in person. I've never held a conversation with her. And she already understands that she's been hurt. It's been done to her before. So guess what? She's looking out for the next girl. And she's not going to participate in that to hurt the next person. And I thought that was a beautiful thing. It's amazing to use your voice in such a positive manner like that reminds other women, hey, listen, we're in this together. At the end of the day, we are in this together. Women are always going to be the stronger gender, always. They give birth, they give life. The strength, even throughout different cultures and communities and throughout history, women are always the ones that run the household. They work, they raise the kids, they cook, they clean, they still do this. The list goes on. Even in the native cultures, they ran the communities while the men went out on hunting parties and stuff. You already know I can sit here for hours and preach on
yeah,
this.
and I do want to comment on that. I do, and I do want to shout out and completely give the complete props to everything that you're saying, which is correct. But everything that you were saying, I can't help, and I'm sorry that it's from my mentor that's a man, Mr. Roman Herrera. He was a very, very, very influential mentor of mine, but so was his wife, Alma. And they were both very influential in my life. But I remember Roman telling me, Mija, if all the anger that you held on to is justified, and everything that everybody did to you, and you have every right to be angry, it makes it harder, because you're right to be angry. You have every single right to be angry. It's justified. Amita, tell me what it does for you. Tell me how it's helped you. Tell me how you've grown from that anger. Tell me what it has done to your soul. And he was the one that showed me. And yes, I want to give all the credit to the women that do everything in the households and do everything that help us develop to be women. But Roman taught me, and he said, Mita, if it's good for you, hold on to it and tell me talk to me in 10 years. But it's poison to our soul to be holding on to anger, especially when it's justified, especially when we're right, especially when they had no business doing what they did. And so if we're talking about trust, and if we're talking about learning to forgive, if we're learning about talking about growing and moving on,
You're freezing just a little bit.
times a day, then do it. Because sometimes that's what it takes. I've experienced that, I've lived that, and I just got to give props where they're due. I would have never known that had somebody not believed in me and told me that and said, hey, let me know how it works out for you. Stay angry. It didn't work. It just didn't. So we're talking trust, we're talking growth. And I think, eventually there'll be another segment, I'm assuming, but if anything, I think we're getting somewhere. So,
you did
mention
we were going to actually have someone else join in on the second segment of this interview. Can you tell us about them?
Yes, she actually is an LCDC, which is a licensed dependency counselor, licensed chemical dependency counselor. She's somebody that I have been mentored by as well. I've lived a hell of a life, okay? And she has stayed involved with me. She wants to give just her things. I love the fact to be able to have somebody that has taught me something to say, hey, I'll join in with you. And so we're going to have actually, some from a medical standpoint, so that way this solidifies. And the fact that it's not just our opinions, I'm talking on trust. I really want this to develop so that way we realize, hey, no. There's a whole thing when it comes to this. There's a process. And it's been proven and so on. And so I'm hoping that our next guest will be able to continue that conversation so that we can talk, because if we just talk about trust and we just talk about it being a topic and we don't come up with an answer, I think, Natalie, we're failing.
And that's
And so,
exactly what I wanted to hear you say. That exact thing right there.
yeah. So if we're going to do that and we're going to get somewhere and we're going to impact people's lives is what we're doing for each other, right? Then we need to get from trust to what? To what? To what? So from trust to forgiveness to moving on and so on and so forth. And so I want to bring somebody from a medical perspective coming on next, so that way we can say, hey, and I want to solidify this. And then I'm hoping that listeners are interested enough so that way we can keep continuing forward to say, hey, we're just trying to figure life out. I don't know about you, Natalie, but I still feel like a kid pretending to be a grown-up.
Yes.
I don't I don't know about you,
Yes.
but I still feel as if I'm a teenager pretending to be a grown-up, and I'm gonna be 40.
Yes.
And so I'm just trying to still figure things out. And so I'm like, at what point do I actually feel grown? So if we can like just air that out and get that to the rest of the world. And if anybody else feels that way and we're thinking, hey, let's grow together, then let's do that. So
And that's the
what
thing. I want to focus with just this season to just touch base on so many things, because there are other things that other topics that are going to be discussed throughout the season with other women in other scenarios and from other backgrounds and other lifestyles. And I want to reiterate it that all of these things that we were raised to believe, or that life put us in a situation and we grew up thinking these were okay, I want people to understand that these are learned behaviors. And this is exactly why I want to hear the perspective of your friend and mentor, because I feel like that would enlighten not just me, but everyone else. Because that's the question. Okay, here's the problem. Everybody knows this is a problem. Everybody knows this is what's going on. Now, what do we do to change it? What do we where do we start to find the solution to help everyone else? And I can't wait to have her on. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. And I like I said, I can't wait to, put out there the rest of the interviews, because they're all great. Every person that I've had on has just been so amazing and so open about their lives. And I just feel like it's going to make a great change. So
I agree. I agree. I agree.
I want to end this on a good note, because I want to pick up later on further out.
As do I. Yes.
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 And I think that we hit some really good topics, some really good
I
topics.
think so too. Yes. Yes. Definitely. Yes. I thank you for having me on. I really do. It was. Thank you. Thank you.
I thank you for coming on, for being so open and just open-minded about what I'm trying to do, and I just really, like I said, I admire everything that you've been through in life and overcome. And I just really, really am so blessed to have you in my life as a friend. And I don't care how many times you think like you mess up and you don't have nothing to offer. That's a lie, because you're right. Every experience that you have overcome already has made a difference in my life. Because guess what? I didn't have to fall 30 times to learn it for myself. You told me, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. And,
Any,
and I'm hoping that we talk about this again. And
yes.
so
Any
yeah.
any last thoughts or words or anything before we
stay tuned, because we got a lot more to talk about. So yeah, definitely. So thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great night. And I'll talk to you soon. And thank you for being a part of this. You've been amazing. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Have a good night. All right.